How about we do something different on something that I've already brought back to life? How's it going, guys? Corey the Random Guy here with you today. We are going to do something a little bit different. The tiller that I had gotten running with a new carburetor is, well, not running right, and the little transmission that's in it is just completely thrashed. So today what we're going to do is we're going to take this engine off of that, and we are going to diagnose and see if we can get the engine to run properly and maybe put that engine on something else. So without further ado, let's get into it. This right here is the tiller. I had showed you guys in a previous video with the utility cart that this is the one we got running. Well, unfortunately, it is not running well. Bunch of smoke coming out of the exhaust, like it's getting too much fuel. Even despite a brand new carburetor, it's still acting like it's getting too much fuel. Let me show you. Let's just go ahead and start it and I'll show you. If it'll start at all, we'll turn fuel on. Throttle is, turn that down to about halfway maybe. Give it a choke. Here we go. Now it won't start at all. Alright, you guys can see it's not starting at all now. I think it's a little bit flooded. So let's go ahead and take the spark plug out of it, spin it over, get all that extra fuel out of the cylinder. And of course, guys, I've got the trusty 215 piece set from Hart. You guys know I love my Hart tools. So Hart, if you guys are watching this, I would love to test out all your guys' new stuff. Let me know in an email. You'll find it in the About section on my channel. I'll also put it right here so that you guys can get a hold of me if you guys want me to do any reviews for your tools. Let's get this spark plug out of here. No doubt in my mind that this engine has a lot of gas in it. I don't know how your guys' view is. It looks pretty good right here, but if you guys have any other suggestions on camera angles, let me know. I'm gonna have to get a new camera stand here pretty quick. This one that I'm using broke, and well, it's being held together by hopes and dreams. So let's reach in there and grab that plug out of there. It's kind of a tight quarters where that plug is. Oh yeah, maybe you guys can see that, but that plug is soaked. So it did flood out. You can tell it's all black and stuff too, because it's been running way too rich. Let's give it a pull and just see. Woo! I don't know if you guys seen that, but that was a lot of gas that came out of that. Holy cripes and mola. Jeez. Yeah, she's definitely flooded. So we'll give that a minute to air out, get all that extra gas out of the cylinder. All right, so this will give me a minute while that's airing out, and it's really gassy in here, even with the big door open, to give you guys an idea of what I'm trying to do here. What I'm trying to do is I'm trying to maybe do a small little business, okay? Working on small engines. That's what we're trying to build here. You guys know me. I love working on stuff like this. Bringing it back from the dead. Well, this one was brought back from the dead, and as you guys can clearly see, it's dead again. So we're gonna try to figure this out. On this machine, it does have the tires that actually rotate with the engine along with the rear tines. Problem with this transmission is it is not working correctly. Tines, they work, but that's about the only thing that works is the tines. And I may do this in a separate video. I'm not 100% sure. We'll see how this one goes. We may tear that transmission apart and see what happened to it, and maybe if it's something stupid simple, kind of fix it, try to put it back together and see if it works. But my main focus right now is that engine. That engine keeps flooding itself regardless. For some reason, the float will not stop the gas from going into the cylinder. Not figure out why. So once we get this engine off of here, put it up on the bench behind me, and we're gonna take a closer look at it. So let's go ahead, give it a few more pulls, see if any more gas comes out of it. Then we're going to take the spark plug over to the bench here, clean it off with the wire wheel again, and see what happens. That's much better. Still a lot of gas coming out of it, but it's starting to clear out, which is a good thing. I don't know if you guys can see right here, but this right here, this is all fresh. All that soot is fresh, which indicates that it's burning way too rich. So we're gonna have to figure out why it is burning too rich, despite the brand new carburetor. I just wanna start it for you guys. This is what I'm trying to do before we take the engine off. I start it for you guys so that you guys can hear what this thing is doing. And in the meantime, we'll take this soaked black plug, clean it off on the wire wheel again. And as you guys know, I have the trusty Hart bench grinder here. This is another one of those things, Hart, that I bought to test. I haven't done a full review on it yet, but I will. But it seems to work really good. Unfortunately, I did have to buy a wire wheel for it. It came with 2 grinding stones, but I want a brush on one side and a grinding stone on the other. So, you know, hey, I have an extra grinding stone. So let's turn this thing on, get this disgusting plug cleaned up. You guys see that? It grabbed the plug and threw it. So all that noise is not bearing noise. It's actually the brushes on this. It's actually the brushes, you know, kind of out this way and just kind of going along here. You know, yeah, it happens. This bench grinder will do what I need it to do with the stuff that I'm working with. You guys can see it's nice and clean. Let's go throw it back in the machine. We're gonna see if we can get it started. So let's throw the plug back in. Once I get it to fire, I'll turn the gas back on and I'll let you guys hear what it's doing. I think there's something wrong with that carburetor, or the float from the factory isn't working right. I'm not 100% sure. Good thing about this engine is it doesn't knock, doesn't ting, doesn't ping, doesn't do anything. It actually sounds really, really good. Nice and healthy. So I'm trying to give this engine the best shot that it can. Now, same way with the utility cart that I just got revived. This thing sat outside for about 4 years. So the fact that it's actually running now is actually very surprising to me. It's a Briggs & Stratton. Briggs & Strattons, they seem to last forever anyway. Let's give this thing a yank again. Bring the throttle up and we're gonna see what it does. Now, remember, gas is still off because there's still a lot of gas in the carburetors. So give this a shot. Okay, we'll turn the gas back on now that it's started. You guys can see the smoke coming out of it. And I just turned the gas off. You guys seen and heard how it ran. It's not running good. So let's get that engine off of there, put it up on the bench, and see if we can just get the thing to run correctly, at least, hopefully. And I'll show you guys on the carburetor, there is no adjustments on it. So it's kind of set to one thing. But I'm thinking that the float is not shutting the gas off like it's supposed to. Right now, first thing I'm taking off is the throttle cable, which is over here on this side of the tank, because I need to get this cover off of here. You guys will find in a lot of these videos I use a lot of extensions for a lot of things. Although not required, I like to use extensions to give me more room. Now, when we first got this thing, it did not have a fuel filter in line. I also replaced the fuel lines that came with the new carburetor, and it's still not doing what it's supposed to do. I don't know why, but that's what we're here for. Oh, here, guys, let me show you something real quick. I just pulled this cover off. Look at this. There's a little bit of oil and gas down in there. I don't know where this oil is coming from. I'm not 100% sure. This is the cover I'm talking about. Taking this one off, getting this cable out of the way, and this whole engine is going to come right off of here. Still got to pull this back cover off to get the belt off of it. And then down here is where the mounts are for this engine. So I'm only going to take the basic stuff off, and then we'll tear it down some more once we get it on the bench. Man, it's spread all over the place. All right. We're going to have to figure this engine out, guys. Actually, you know what? I don't even need to take that off because cable is right here. Take that off, get this cable out of the way.
And now we need to take
these off of here. Oh, and those are 1/4 inch, not 5/16. I really like my Hart tools. They seem to work really well. And I've never really had any issues with any of them, except for my Sawzall. My Sawzall had, it's got a switch problem. Of course, I got one of the first models that they had. It was a brushed model, and it was one of the newer style, or the older styles. So I would assume it's probably just got some sort of defect from the design originally. But it works still. Just gotta mess with the trigger a little bit. You guys can see down here, this is why I like extensions, because it gives you more room, do a lot of stuff. Cujo in the background barking. All right, let's get, oh yeah, we got plenty of room. Get the belt off of the engine here. There's the belt. You guys can't really see down in there. I really need to work on my camera angles a little bit. Put that there. The engine is free from the drive belt. Let's see what size these mounting bolts are, or nuts, I guess, in this case. I don't know if I need to take this part off just to get to it or not. I don't think so, but just in case. Let me see. No, this should come right off with it. All right, get a wrench or two. All right, I'm gonna take a wild stab in the dark and say that it's a 1/2 inch. Hey, look at there. I was right. All right. Yeah, it's a little bit loose on that. Let me get something that's a little bit tighter. Oh, 13's even loose. Let's try a 12. And a 12 is too small. So 1/2 inch it is. Now this stuff isn't as good at breaking stuff loose as PB Blaster, but it'll work because that's what I have on hand for right now. So we'll spray those, give them a second to sit, if I can aim right. I know there's a joke in there somewhere. Yep, that one broke free. That's a good thing. Now, Hart also has ratcheting wrenches. I would love to have a set of those from them. And that bolt's turning. Let's see if we can get this other one to pop loose. Alright, we got that to turn. Good. Good, good, good. Now, it looks like this bar is going to come off with it, so that's a good thing. So again, Hart, if you guys are watching this, I would love to try out your guys' new stuff. If you guys want honest reviews, this is where to go to get them. Let's get this bar, maybe, out of the way. Oh, maybe. Let's see. Let me get this nut out of the way. These engines, there's really nothing to them, especially these ones. There's no electronics, no fancy stuff you got to take off. Just a couple of cables, 4 bolts, or bolts and nuts in this case. And depending on if it's on a lawnmower or something, you know, take the pulley off. That's about it. I mean, there's really nothing to these. But these engines, they just work in so many different applications. It's astounding, really. Running into one of those situations where the nut is too tight for fingers. There we go. Was too tight for fingers. And then almost too loose for a ratchet or something like that. Let's get this thing off of here. There we go. I about hit myself in the face. You guys see that? Cool. All right. We got one side free. You guys aren't really going to be able to see what I'm doing, but it's the same process. All right. That is free. Looks like somebody's taken this engine off before. All right. There's one more. Oh boy. That one's tight now. Holy crap. So in a case like this, slightly bigger than the one that you guys are using, and give yourself another extension on there. So if you're using this, the closed end, what you would want to do, you want to take it and see how it just makes it longer. Now that I've got it popped loose, I can easily turn it. So let's take this engine off of here. Hopefully it'll come off with ease, but you just never know. What else we got? Oh, it looks like there is one more bolt. I just tried lifting the engine. There's this bolt still here in the way. Let's see if we can crack this thing loose here. And look, it's also a 1/2 inch. Ooh, dadgummit. Slipped off there. There we go, that made life so much easier. There we go. See there. So that really didn't work out too well. So we're gonna get this pulley off of here. Hopefully it'll come off with these, but it doesn't look like it's going to. What I may do, spray that down, and then just slightly get some pressure back behind here, get this pulley off there. Okay, that's loose. Well, let's go spray that shaft down. See if we can get something to pull that off. Alright, I'll bring you guys back as soon as we can get some progress on this.
A few moments later.
Oh, there we go. It's coming off there. Pretty nicely, actually. That's a shocker considering how long this thing's been sitting out in the weather. This thing just impresses me each time. Let's see if I can get it to cooperate with me here. There we go. There. One key pulley off of the engine. Now, it should come right up. Shouldn't be anything else holding it. There's not. So let me give the bottom of the engine a little bit of wiggle here. Maybe. This is stuck. Boy, she is stuck on there. Trying not to damage the case in any way. It's all rusted in place right on this stud. Alright, I'm gonna bring you guys back. I'm gonna work on this. See if I can get this engine off here.
A few moments later.
Alright guys, I finally have this thing loose. You guys probably won't be able to see this, but right down here, this part of the engine was rusted in place. Now, this is aluminum and then steel. So it oxidized itself, the stud went ahead and locked itself in place, but now we should be able to get this engine out of here. Ended up having to use a small wedge and a small punch to get that to work. Alright. Free at last! Wow, what a chore that was. All right, let's get you back up on the bench where the engine is. All right, I know you guys are way up there. Unfortunately, my stand is not working very good. I'm gonna give you guys the best angle that I can here. So here's the engine finally liberated from that thing you call a tiller. Let's start by getting this stuff off of here. The gas is off. This tank is full, unfortunately. So if I remember correctly, it was a 7/16. There's the breather hose. Looks like it's covered in crap too. Might be a 3/8 as well, but we'll give it a shot. 7/16? No, it's a 3/8. Definitely wrong on the sizes. Oh crap, I'm even wrong on that one. 11/32? Nope. Alright, no way this is a 5/16. Oh wow, I guess it is. Alright, well, I guess I was proved wrong. It's not a big deal. know if you guys can see it dripping, but look at all the gas coming out of here. It's crazy. Wow, that is just covered in crap. There's a brand new gasket that came with it. Keep that safe. Alright guys, I have the carburetor off of here. Let's take the bowl off of here and figure out if maybe the float is sticking. I do believe that was a 1/2 inch. Nope, 13. Yep. Boy, that's stiff. Ugh. There we go. Lord. That could be why it's sticking. Jeez. Definitely clean in there. So I don't understand what's going on. Could be the fact that it was just too tight. Kind of question the quality control here. Take the float off. Needle and seat. Seat looks pretty good. Needle looks alright. Wonder if it's even functioning correctly. Let's put that back in here. Now mind you guys, this is a brand new carburetor that we just got. Of course, from the Jungle site. I have actually never had any issues with any carburetors that I have bought for small engines off of Amazon until now. So now that that is there, let's test. So, float should be open. The needle should be open right now. See if we can blow through. Yep, we can. Okay, so now we'll close it. Now it's closing like it's supposed to. Wondering if it's because this bolt was just too tight. Let's put it back together, because there's no reason for these to be extremely tight like that. They just need a little snug is all they need. Don't need nothing extra. About there. Let's flip it upside down, close it. Okay, open it. Alright, so let's throw all this back together just to see if maybe it was just having to do with the float bowl being way too tight. Not 100% sure, but we're about to find out. All this stuff back in there. Kind of at a weird angle here. This tightens. It's either with a socket or a Torx bit, which in this case is a T27. Just give it a little snug. We'll put fuel back on it. Not even going to worry about that. Let me see if the float will close. I'm going to turn on the gas. There we go. We'll see if it's going to start dripping out of here. It shouldn't if the float is working correctly. Looks like we might be okay. We find a way to secure this engine. Alright. I know it's a pretty simple process to put this on. Prove to you guys that it's there. Alright, now that that's on there, that's sealed. Set it about half throttle. Let's give her a yank. They didn't like that. Alright, let's give her another yank. It's not wanting to run with the choke off. Oh, that's not good. Wonder why it's doing that. Turn our half choke. Maybe. Well, it looks like we still may have a fuel issue. Oh boy. Is there any fuel down in there? You guys see? I don't see nothing in there. Alright, let's give her one more yank without the filter. See if it'll actually go. Maybe. It's really hard to do this with one hand. what's going on with that. Wonder if there's some impurities in that float or something. Let me charge my camera a little bit, sit back, think about it, and we'll bring it back. All right, guys, before I plug this camera into the charger, look at this, full of fuel again. If it's that high, that means that cylinder is completely stuffed. So I'll bring it back as soon as I can figure out something. All right, guys, I still haven't figured out this whole carburetor issue. I've taken the bowl off multiple times, checked everything. Everything is working like it's supposed to. The float is actually closing and opening like it's supposed to, and I cannot adjust it because it's a plastic float bowl. Or a plastic float, excuse me. I'm not 100% sure what I'm going to do with this. However, we do have something else that we might be able to rob something off of to put on that one. Let me show you. Courteous of the wife who found a mower, a snow blower, and the engine for a pressure washer. The pressure washer part was missing. This is what was left. Unfortunately, the engine is seized. I did spray some WD-40 down in there. We'll take the head off of it, but that's going to be in a different video. But we're going to see if the carburetor is the same or if it acts the same after I clean this one out and put it on that engine there. Pretty much the same exact thing. It's very identical. Overhead valve, same setup. You guys can see. I'm going to take the carburetor off of this one, get it all cleaned out, make sure everything is working on it, plop it on that engine, and see if it makes a difference. If it does, then there's probably something wrong with this carburetor. I may have to send it back or order yet another one. Let's get you set up. Let's get this thing off of here. We'll see what we can do with it. All right, this intake is actually set up a little bit different. Carburetor is the same. When we first got this engine just a little bit ago, I did try to pull it over, and I tried pulling the plug out of it. Well, unfortunately, the plug disintegrated and the threaded part is still inside the cylinder head. So that one's going to be kind of a challenge to get out, but I'm hoping that I can save this and maybe get it running again. But like I said, that's going to be a different video. But we're going to figure out how to get this thing apart. Maybe this carburetor will behave itself. My wife is very, very courteous. She keeps looking pretty much every day for free stuff like this, so I can bring it back to life and show you guys how it can be done. Sometimes it just can't be done depending on the condition of the engine. Most of the time, if you play your cards right, it'll work. Let's breeze stuff cleared out of here. Jeez. Same story with this T27. I really do not want to snap that off. I'm gonna just kind of work it a little bit. I'm using a 1/4-inch ratchet so I don't put too much torque on this. Closer. There we go. There. Gives me access so you guys can see. See, once you get it to move, even just a little bit, you should be good to go. Once it starts getting tight, there we go. All right. Got one side without snapping. You guys see that? That's what was holding it in. You don't want to snap it right there or else you're really screwed. Same thing with the other side. Oh, that side came off easy. There we go. You guys notice something. You guys are probably yelling at me right now. You didn't take the fuel line off. Yeah, I'll fight with that here in a second. Now we can get to this. Maybe this will come off without a hitch. There we go. Cool. There's a lot of water in there. There's stuff in it. Let's take the bowl off and see what lurks inside. Alright guys, I did get the float bowl off, and it has the older school needle and seat. And what I mean by that is the seat is down inside of there. It's like a little rubber thing, and then that is just a metal tip. So I'm gonna clean this up, throw it on this other engine, and see what happens. It doesn't look too terrible, but I'm gonna go ahead and clean it up a little bit, and we're gonna see what happens with it. I'll bring it back. This bowl nut here actually draws fuel up from right there, and then shoots it right up the middle. But it is plugged right now. Dogs are barking for no reason. Oh yeah, she's plugged. So I'm gonna finish cleaning that up, getting that cleared out. All the rest of the passages seem to be okay. This one is really about the only one that was messed up. Let me work on that, and I'll bring you back. We'll put the carburetor on this other engine, try to run it, see what happens. Got her nice and cleared out. Let's go ahead and put the carb back together. Put the carb back together and see what happens. I want that to kind of be shiny and smooth. Sometimes you could just use your finger, go across it. I don't know what kind of gunk is in here, but it's all white, powdery, and stuff like that. Wipe that off best we can, because this is only a test run. If this carburetor works better and doesn't flood, then I will do more cleaning with it every time we turn around. So let's give this a test. Okay, float is open. Cool. That works beautifully. Let's get this engine out of the way. There we go. All right. Take this. Put that on there. Squeeze it on there. Just like that. We'll take the bolts that came out of this engine. Now some of you guys will notice that this choke lever is different from the original or the new carb, and that's because it is. It is different, but for this purpose, I just want to make sure that everything is going to be kosher. I'll go ahead and clamp it back down, and this is what I'm using to clamp it back down. It's these C-clamp vice grip type things. Probably do better if I had C-clamps or an actual mounting deal, which I don't. Turn on the gas. Gas is now on. See if it will do anything. Make sure the engine's secure because I'm going to be pulling it over. All right, give her a choke. My bowl's had long enough to fill up. Let's see. Oh. Guess what, guys? It's running. It's running good. So that carburetor that we got for this engine to replace the crappy one that was on here is no good. Now, it's not running right now, but it's running nonetheless. That is amazing. Cool. Alright guys, well, that right there is what we call getting an engine running right. So, I hope you all enjoyed this video, and I hope you guys learned something. Take junk. Take stuff off of a junk engine, put it on here, chances are it's going to run better if you clean it out right. I will be taking this carburetor off totally, cleaning it all out, making sure all the passages are good, there's no junk left in it, and we're going to find another tiller body. We're going to stick this engine on it, and we're going to get it running. Alright guys, I hope you guys enjoyed. And we will catch you guys on the next episode. See ya! Now I personally think this looks better than this setup that was originally on it. Thank goodness it's the same engine. Let's fire this thing up. See if it actually does better, because sometimes there are carburetors that you have to have the air filter on in order for it to level itself out and stuff like that. So let's turn it on. I'm going to try no choke this time. See what happens. Actually, no. I better choke it. half choke. Looky there. Alright. That runs much better. Sounds good. Alright guys, like I said, I appreciate you hanging out. And until the next one, we'll see you guys later.